You don't find the situationship. The situationship finds you.
Like, bro, just get over it.
Good on her,
Yeah.
because I can't do that. I personally hate myself. It's fine.
First step is learning to like yourself, Crystal.
They've done so well with arrangements in the past.
It was one fucking night.
Yo.
What? You sound like you're like so fat you can't breathe.
At least, listen, she's not as fat as some other cats I've seen. There's this cat, because there's this lady who does, like, dog grooming, but she also does cats. Her name's Girl with the Dogs. And, the cat was... I'd call this I don't remember what his name is. His name is Biggie Small. His name is Biggie. He was 43 pounds.
Jesus.
And he was at this. That's what they got him at. And so he was at this. They make specific cat rescues for obese cats, and he's down to 25 pounds. I think they said. So I don't know where mine is.
Hmm. Do you want to see the kitty? Huh? No. Do you want to see the kitty? No. Look at the kitty. Do you see the kitty? Do you see the kitty? She's like half of my upper body. Yeah, I know. I know my tubbies. Kiki, hello. I wasn't talking to you, but hi to you too. Yeah, you sound like you're
I
dying.
think her having a collar on has subdued her a little bit.
What's with the collar? Is it a flea collar?
No, it's just a regular collar.
What,
I
BB?
want her to get used to it. Nope, not on my desk.
Hi, BB. Today, we're here for the last book of our wheel.
But don't be sad. Don't be sad.
Get glad.
Because this just means we have our end of month. We have a break, but don't be sad about the break. We'll explain the break next time. And then we have all the holidays.
Holiday.
Celebrate.
It's so great. I have no idea what we're doing yet. We're going to find out.
Neither do I.
We're going to find out.
And maybe we'll be happier. I would say more put together. That ain't happening.
That's not happening.
You're so funny. Oh, this tea's really yummy.
I'm just going to show you my chunky cat.
I see your chunky. I know.
That's her laying down. she might have a problem.
Listen here. Listen to the people who don't actually watch the video versions of these. First of all, what are you doing? Second of all, you don't get the beautiful visuals that we share sometimes because, like, we'll be drawing, recording. We'll be doing some unhinged shit sometimes. Sometimes we'll wear. I think we've worn a matching shirt before. Like, we have a good time with it mostly. Maybe we'll dress up for Halloween. No promises on that one though.
No, we try. We try.
Mm-hmm.
We try.
Can I say I dress up every day with the cat ears? I'm a cat every day.
She's a cat. Was she? Okay. Anyways, so Yes, it is our last book of the wheel. Crazy craziness.
What a year! It's
I
already
know.
August!
I know. I'm
The
like
fuck
weird
happened?
about that. Feeling really weird about that.
Man, we're really barreling towards our 40s.
And this year has been weird.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's okay, so it hasn't been like fully awful. It's been like bits and pieces have been awful and bits and
I'm
pieces
glad that for
for
you.
me.
I'm glad that for
Listen,
you.
okay, but here's the thing.
Everybody needs.
After the
I feel like every
way
year
the
has just been
world,
compounded.
I think every other year one of us needs to have a problem. And
I'm
like
having
last
a
year,
problem every fucking year. It's like
well,
every year.
last year my entire life upended, so let's not go back to that. I prefer to not ever go through that again.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted
I
to
had
die, but I didn't, and I'm here.
I had
Yay, all of
lots
us.
of bad last year too. It's just been a hot
Mm.
a hot mess. Hot pockets, but we're not here for hot
Hot Pockets
pockets
are really
or
good in the air
hot
fryer, by the
messes.
way.
I don't really eat hot pockets.
I I used to eat a lot of them, and then okay, rant before we get into the book. They had the crisping sleeve on them.
Hmm.
Genius. Then they got rid of the crisping sleeve because
Right.
they said it's the same. Spoiler alert, not the same. Does not taste the same. They're way more like squishy. So then learned, and it's on the box now that you can put them in the air fryer. Put them in the air fryer, perfection. So, if anyone likes Hot Pockets and wants to wait like 15 minutes, because it does take a while,
I like jalapeno poppers.
10 out of 10 in an air. I love an air fryer.
I like jalapeno poppers in the air fryer.
I like reheating my pizza in the air fryer. I like doing a lot of stuff in my air
I
fryer.
make homemade chicken nuggets and put them in the air fryer.
I make bacon in my air fryer.
No, I don't do that.
I put foil at the bottom and then
I
it
don't really
crisps
make
them.
bacon in general.
Mm, yeah, I love bacon.
I'm not the biggest bacon person. It has
I
to be
don't
like
currently eat it.
crispy to the like so crispy for me to
That's
eat
why
it.
it's
So
really good in an air fryer.
yeah, but every time I've done it in the air fryer, it's like not the good crispy. It's the like cardboard crispy.
Mm. I don't know. Every time I've made it in the air fryer, it's perfect. But I don't eat bacon right now because meat
Really?
is
Okay.
expensive and I can't afford
Mm.
it. So I am currently not eating meat, not based on moral choices, based on my poverty level.
Beans, beans, the more you eat, the more
Listen, just beans and rice will suffice. That rhymed on accident, but here we are.
that's our motto. Beans and rice will suffice. No.
Being poor sucks.
Uh,
We have Amazon wish lists if anyone wants to buy anything for us off of them.
dude, I need to
They
make
are
a,
linked in our link tree still,
yeah,
as far
but I
as I
think
know.
it's just, I think mine's just my book wish list.
Mm.
I really need to make a Amazon teacher wish list for my classroom.
We should do
Um,
that. You
I,
know
I,
what? We should do that and still link it to the podcast in case anyone wants to be nice and send teachers something
I'm
good
pretty
for
sure
school.
that everyone who listens to us is probably also just as poor as we are and living life because it's 2026 and we're just,
But hey, first of all, let's not push our financial burden of how we live onto other people. Maybe other people are better off than we are, okay?
my current saving, currently saving up to and it's not even like things I need for my classroom, but it's a stupid save. But I stupidly am trying to save for a mini fridge for my room because I don't want to have to leave my classroom this year.
I don't blame you. I wish I could just mail you mine, but
I
I
want
can't do
to
that.
I want to just like have my little, I'm gonna bring my kettle in. I'm just gonna have my little setup and just be like, I don't have to leave my room except for like duties and stuff.
I love that
Bye.
for you. Anyways, so
Yes.
enough
Who's
being
your daddy?
sidetracked. Well, I'm the
It's
daddy.
you.
It's
It's
me.
you. It's you.
And this is a
Um,
book she picked with me in mind, I believe,
it
based
is
on the
because you're the
context.
daddy. And because of
It's a rom-com.
the book. Yes. Yes.
Was it a little cheesy? Absolutely. Was I
But
here
in
for
a
the
fun
cheese though?
way.
But no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. So here's the thing. It was cheesy in a great way. Like it wasn't like because we've had books that were cheesy that are like, no. This was like it fit the theming of the book and the type of book it was. The character, like I like the cheese. I also really like cheese. My body doesn't like cheese, but I like cheese.
And on that note, yes, this week we read Who's Your Daddy by Lauren Rowe. And it's a rom-com age gap, but it's like reverse age gap. And we'll talk
I
about that
love
along the way.
this. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the other thing.
Oh boy.
Ariel didn't
Yes,
say it
this
was
is.
reverse age gap in the beginning, like in the actual like description.
Oh
Because if
yes, I knew
so,
going
then
in
you
for Crystal.
definitely knew.
Yes, I chose this for you. Yes.
Spoiler alert: Crystal does like to date younger people.
Crystal likes them young.
Here's the thing: is when they do better things than men. I've tried dating my age, and guess what? It doesn't work out so well for me. And the men don't know what they're doing or can't last more than 2 seconds, and I have to fake everything. And then, but like sometimes some younger men have things to prove, and here we
I can
are.
prove them for you.
And sometimes they want you to fly to their state so that you can do things. And yeah, anyways.
Side note,
Mm.
um, so Joey had to have his first filling
Ooh,
yesterday. Yeah, for
God
like,
bless him.
yeah. Well, I told him you need to start flossing your teeth. It was just one of those surface ones where they were just trying to be
Mm,
proactive.
yeah.
Not to the point. They were a little overzealous on the medicating of him to numb him because they weren't sure how he was going to react because we all have, and when they,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
only
yeah.
time they've had to do anything was when they put the crowns on when they did the sealants and stuff when he was little, and he immediately came out of anesthesia the second they turned the anesthesia off. And so, like, we were worried that
Mm.
it was going to be like everything else with me and everything else. So they were a little overzealous. So half of his face was numb for like 4 hours. So he couldn't use
Jesus.
half his face, and it was like stuck like that for like 4 hours. And he's like, I don't understand. It's gonna get stuck like this for. He's like this. It's gonna get stuck like this forever. And and he's going on and on. Okay. And he's like, nobody else knows what this is like. And he's going on and on and on. I said, well, actually, one time Crystal had that issue and her face was like that, but she had her whole face, not just her mouth. And he's
And
like,
it wasn't
oh,
dentist. It wasn't
I
dentist
know,
related
I
either.
know. I was trying not to super traumatize him. He goes, oh, I finally look like my father. I just had to give you the dark humor for a hot minute. I
I'm sorry.
was like, she doesn't have it now, obviously. It's mostly healed.
And it's funny because no one knows except for people who have looked at my face for an extended period of
For
time
extended,
prior
right?
and
Or
prior
that
from
knows
before.
you, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's what I
notice.
said. And that's what, well, right, it's your face. And I told him, I'm like, it's mostly healed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like, because he's like, her face isn't like that now. I'm like, it's mostly better. Like she would tell you it's not, but it's mostly better. And he's like, so will mine get better? And he's all worried about it.
You could have even told him because it happened to Grace too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Grace was young enough; her face completely healed.
It went
The
right
only
back. Yeah.
issue I think she has is similar to what I have, where my eye leaks like out of
Yeah.
nowhere. It'll just like leak. Hers does the same thing,
His
but
was literally just numbed by
right. Well, that was just.
medication.
But it's funny. That's so
But
funny. I
it
look
was
like my
funny
father. That's
because,
funny.
yeah,
Dead.
he's like, finally. I was so confused he got me because I was confused for like a whole second. And then
Oh
I was
my
like, oh.
god. I'm sorry, but that's so funny.
Anywho, so yes, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Boop, already. We're starting out great, folks. Who's Your Daddy features Marnie. And Marnie is super frustrated because she just found out that the man that she's been dating for the last 6 months is actually married and was cheating on his wife with her.
Murder.
She did not have any knowledge of this, so she's drowning her sorrows with her friends. And she decides she's going to have one last hurrah before she gives up on crap men.
Valid.
Because she's going to play
Because
it safe to wait for Mr. Right. So she's one last night of,
here's the thing. Because
getting it
if
on.
you sometimes you do one last hurrah, and then 15 years later, you're still waiting for that man to come along.
At least you get it good, right?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want any of the red flags. She wants to settle down and actually be someone's actual wife, not just someone's side piece. Her last hurrah happens to be a man that she meets in the bar named Max. They flirt and banter, and then they quickly head to Max's place to bang. They bang all night and into the morning. Even though they're upfront with each other that they don't want anything more than just sex, they do agree to get breakfast with each other because it's literally like the best sex of their life. And they want to maybe bang again and maybe even catch up over dinner to maybe bang again
That is how you stumble.
into a situationship.
Mm-hmm. I've been in
They
many
were
of
not
those.
looking for that, but they also just didn't want to let go of this like best sex of their
Listen,
life.
you don't find the situationship. The situationship finds you.
That. So that's great until Max goes to take a shower and Marnie goes to get coffee. And Marnie goes to check in on her dad because her dad has Marnie's daughter for the night. Marnie has a 3-year-old at home, which kind of keeps this ball rolling of she just is really ready to settle down and just build a family. And everything's fine with her dad and her daughter, so she continues on with her coffee, but then she sees photos on the wall. Photos of Max with him and his brother, and him and his brother and his dad. And Marnie realizes that his dad is the ex that she was just dating.
Dun dun dun. It really
Yeah.
takes a new level to. We're currently at the age where you can be like, I'll fuck you, but if you fuck me over, I'll fuck your dad. But this is like the reverse of that.
Yeah. So
Hers
she
wasn't on
did know.
purpose, mind you.
Right. Right. And Alexander, that's the married man's name, he was older than her. So Marnie is about 40 and Alexander was 50 and he was just silver fox. You know what I mean? That she was all cool with it, whatever. But Max, he's 30 and she was okay for a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am, for the one night. Let him, as Crystal says, let him prove it. Let him have something to prove. Go for it. Until she saw the photos, which I do want to just preface this now. It is odd that he had photos up of his dad when he has such an estranged relationship with his father, and he didn't have photos up of his mother. Before we get there,
Yeah.
just saying.
I personally don't have photos of any of my family.
Nope,
um, in
certainly not
case
my dad.
Carrie, literally none of the photos in my background are of family members. um, and even when I lived in the house where I had photos up, I think it was just my kid
Right.
and like
Yeah,
my
mine,
ex
just
at
my
the
kid.
time, like our collective children, and I didn't really do family photos. And I'm not estranged from my family. Like, I mean, I'm more
But I
close with
meant
my,
he is.
but but that's the thing. Like, so like
Yeah.
it's for me, it's still weird to have family photos up in general.
Right. Unless
But
those are
yeah,
just the pictures he has with his brother. I don't know.
maybe, and that could
That
be
was
it
never
if he's
explained, so that was kind of odd. But
well, we are a
we're
little
just a fly on the wall for the story.
traumatized of family things. So when anything family happens, we're like, but why?
But why? But
But
also make it
why?
make sense.
There's that too.
But also make it make sense. So Marnie, of course, with this situation, panics and
Yeah,
starts to pack her stuff and get the fuck out of there.
I
Get
totally
dressed and go
panicked.
style.
Peace out,
Max,
beach.
yeah, catches her and tries to figure out what's going on. But she says, something came up. She's got to go. This was great. But, he's very young, you know, 30 to her 40. And this should just stay what it is. It was one night. They knew it. It's all good. And he says, yeah, that's what he was going to say too.
Sure it was.
Mhm.
Sure it was.
Yeah, she gets out of there and calls her friends immediately, like, help. This is what happened. Both Marnie and Max struggle with their unexpectedly strong connection with one another and quick departure for different reasons, but they both feel that strange pull. Max almost could even see himself wanting to date Marnie, but he doesn't typically date anyone. He's on the fast track at work, and that's his life. And he also has no idea why she left so rapidly, but he convinces himself that it's fine. He has his plan for work, and he needs to keep his head in the game. He's been working really
Gotta
hard on his
get you in the
goals.
game. Sorry.
And Marnie feels like she's just in a spiral from all of this and is wondering if she didn't properly even deal with the grief from her mother properly yet, because her mother just died about
Hmm.
a year ago. And that was right before the relationship with Alexander. And it was just,
Yeah, just everything compiled on
hmm
top of each other. And I
it
can
happens.
understand that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah. And she just decides that she needs to work on herself and she's going to give up men for at least the next year while she gets some counseling and does some introspective work.
Good on her
Yeah.
because I can't do that. I
Well,
personally hate myself. It's fine.
first step is learning to like yourself, Crystal,
mm,
and then
I
be
don't want.
someone you like or learn to like who you are. You're like neither of those things. I'm just going to bang it out. If it can't catch me,
If
I don't hold still, it can't catch
I pretend it doesn't exist, it can't hurt me.
me. The book skips to a year and a half later. And one of Marnie's friends, Selena, who also went home with a younger man from the bar that night, who also is a friend of Max. His name is Grayson. And
He's
they're
such a
at
cutie patootie.
his birthday. Selena is throwing a birthday for Grayson. So, of course, Max shows up at the cutie patooty's birthday. And it's the first time that Marnie and Max have seen each other since that night. Things aren't going great at first because Marnie's basically like ignoring him or trying to at least. But then he kind of calls her out on it and they have a private conversation hashing things out. And Marnie basically says she wasn't in a good spot in her life and she had to deal with all the grief from her mother. And she basically had a panic attack and ditched him. It wasn't him, it was her. It wasn't their connection. She just had a moment. It was one night. Why is he making such a big deal out of it? And
Well, those are the questions you're asking, and I don't think you want the answers.
right, but in all reality, like for
No, yeah,
real,
yeah,
like it
yeah.
was one night. Like he needs to
Hmm.
like he's showing his age a little too much
Here's the
here.
thing, okay? Sometimes one night apparently just makes a difference.
One night,
One
apparently. But
night
also
turns into
he's like
two, turns
being a
into
little
five. Yeah, but he's still allowed to have his
he's a
feelings.
baby. Yes.
But even so, here's the thing. Yes, he's 30, first of all. He's not a baby. He's 30.
Right, but then he shouldn't be acting like he's got baby's feelings.
No, because there are people
It
who
was
are
one
grown and
night. If but she just didn't want to feel it or didn't want to be with him, then that he needs to get the fuck over it. Because it well could have been she just didn't want anything to do with it.
so one of
And she
us
wanted to
hasn't
stick
dated in
with
15 years and one of us has.
but she also just wanted to stick with her one night. No strings
Yeah.
attached. That's what they agreed on. He shouldn't have
Mhm.
to make her feel guilty for sticking to it.
I get it, but people are entitled to their feelings.
Well, he also doesn't have to share them with her. And she's not entitled to listen to his feelings.
Okay.
I'm just saying she doesn't have to. This was a different situation, but it could have been very different. Just saying. So, anywho, She does say, as far as ignoring him, she didn't want to lock eyes with him and have him read too much out of what was on her face because, she just happens to be appreciating his attractiveness. She doesn't want him to think she's still hot for him. I mean, well, she is. And well, he is to her. And so they just start going at each other, kissing, and then they fuck against a wall, just like that. And when they finish, Max asks if they can do it again tomorrow. And Marnie says that that's probably not a good idea. He says it's a great idea as long as they're both clear on expectations. They were clear on expectations the first time, and you still couldn't handle it. Just saying. Just saying.
But they were clear on expectations originally. They said one night, but then they did go out to breakfast. They both
No,
equally
they
agreed
didn't
it.
go out to breakfast. They said
Or
they would.
they
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
But that's the
That kind of
thing.
blurred
It's
the lines
like
a little bit, right?
right.
But
So
then
like the
she's like,
thing.
well, actually, I changed my mind. I want to stick with our clear.
Mm,
I get it. But also, and I try to teach the kids this too, like, you don't need to give anyone an explanation. No is just no.
mm-hmm.
You can not like anybody for any reason. Bye.
That is true.
But they're very feeling it for each other right now, and they're very jumbled up. He says it's a great idea, and Marnie says that she has sworn off casual sex since the last time they were together. This was just a moment of weakness. She has goals. It's nothing personal, but she's looking for something stable and lasting. He tries to say that he doesn't see anything wrong with her looking for something serious while also casually fucking him when the sex is this good. He's clearly offended that she's not just going with it. And so he's kind of being a dick about it and backhandedly complimenting her how she's the best sex he's ever had. And there's no reason she shouldn't look for Mr. Right while also having them fuck each other's brains out. Like he doesn't even really like her that much and can't trust her at all. And he's just, it's very much, I'm going to hurt you because I'm feeling hurt and I'm going to lash out at you. And it's
Mm-hmm.
very like an immature response right now. It's just a very childish reaction. I did not like how he was responding at this entire party. It was
No, but
really
at
just
the same time, there are plenty of ways that they did write it where the man is doing it, but there are so many out there where it's the complete reverse. And I don't like it either, but like it
I'm not saying I
yeah.
don't like it either way. I'm telling you in this book that we're talking about right
Yeah,
now,
I
this I don't
know.
like this scene. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's just I don't like his entire situation here because he's just like going from like okay, and now he's being a complete another dick and it's like I'm not here for it. I don't really like how easy it is for him to talk to her like a dick
Mm,
bag. That's the thing. And be so angry with her. Like, bro, just get over it. It was one night a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago.
yeah.
One night. Like, he's telling her there's nothing to even like about her.
Yeah, no,
And
that's just
like,
being mean.
yeah. But they just end up hashing it out. And she's just basically like, nope. But they go back and forth until they make plans to meet up later that evening at Max's house to bang. Kind of like, I'm assuming, a hate sex situation, but just
But see, then
sex.
that's also the thing.
Mixed signals.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
and I get it. I again just didn't like how he thought it was okay to speak to her and was
Yeah.
so easy to have that come out of his mouth like that. And it's probably a product of his environment because we seen his dad, but that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that at 30 years old he shouldn't have worked on himself to not have that be so immediate. But then as they're about to depart, Max gets a phone call from his mom, and the picture on the screen is actually of a woman that Marnie used to hang out with quite a bit, that she had been trying to set her dad up with a
Mm-hmm.
while back, but she kind of like lost touch a bit. And I'm pretty sure that that's who's dating the dad now. It's pretty obvious, but Marnie doesn't know it yet. We'll
Mm-hmm.
get there. And she realizes that this woman, Geraldine, knows the whole situation from Alexander and her dating Alexander because she was there for the beginning part of the meltdown before they went to the next bar that she met Max with. And she was there for that whole meltdown. She didn't use his name. She called him Mr. BDE. So she,
Hmm.
without knowing, talked to Geraldine about her ex-husband. And then she not only fucked her son that night, but then she just fucked her son again right now. So now she starts to panic again. And Max is like, what the fuck with the whiplash? As she's like, gotta go. Bye. He says they're not doing this again. Too much back and forth. Can't play the flip-flop game. It's psychotic. He's not going to give her another chance. And she's like, great, bye. Bye. Gotta go. This was the sign. I saw a sign and it opened Marnie's eyes. She saw a sign. So Marnie had to go meet her dad anyways, because this was the night she was going to meet the new girlfriend.
Hmm.
And ta-da, it is Geraldine, who is with Marnie's daughter, Ripley, and Geraldine, who they also call Gigi, is having her sons meet her there. So Augie is there already. And then, dun, 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 Max walks in and everyone gets introduced to everyone. And Max just glares at Marnie like, you gotta be kidding me. Gigi chuckles, asking if they know each other. And Marnie says they met briefly a while back at a bar and they have mutual friends. Max says that they ran into each other again today at one of those mutual friends' parties. During all this very intense conversation, Ripley is enthralled by Max, continuously asking him questions like how old he is, what's his name, and she's like grabbing his leg and trying to get him to answer, but she doesn't care about what Augie has to say because Augie's like, hey, I'll talk to you, little girl. But Max is basically like, no. But Ripley wants to know why Max is mad at her mommy. He's actually not nice to the kid, but Ripley thinks he's hilarious. Marnie is questioning if it's hereditary, being hopelessly attracted to emotionally unavailable men.
You know,
Mm,
seems to be my favorite kind of man.
so let's hope not.
Well, no, here's the thing. My daughter's a lesbian, so she doesn't have to deal with that. Well, with the men part.
That doesn't mean the
I'm
emotionally,
aware.
yeah.
It's less likely on that side.
Yeah. Everyone kind of disperses a bit, and Max and Marnie whisper angrily at each other for a bit. Max is actually quite frustrated that Marnie never brought up Ripley at all because they talked pretty intensely that night. But Marnie says, again, it was one fucking night. It was a one night stand.
So here's
That's
the
all it's
thing.
ever meant to be. It was
Right.
never meant to be serious. It wasn't like he was going to be
But,
her daddy.
but they did normally with a one night stand, you do not have any of the deep talk and do not talk about anything afterwards. You wham bam, peace the fuck out. But they did
Mhm.
have those deeper talks. So I can kind of understand where he's coming from at that point, and then where it had been kind of back and forth with a couple, like, I understand. I get it from that
Yes.
aspect.
But also, like, I also understand it from her point of view, where it's like, why is she going to bring that into the equation for no reason?
Yeah.
You
All
know,
right.
it wasn't like he was going to be her daddy. He'd talk about how she ran because she realized she fucked her yoga pal, because that's what Gigi is, her yoga pal's kid. And it just made her feel like a fool again, messing around with him, like the universe was saying it was a bad idea. They obviously want very different things. He says it shouldn't matter if she's semi-friendly with her fuck buddy's mother. That's irrelevant. By definition, fuck buddies aren't someone you take home to the parents. Bolting was a massive overreaction. And they end up simmering it out and being able to banter back and forth better. And Marnie's dad invites everybody back to their place to eat. Augie declines because he has a big test the next day. He's in college still. But Max surprisingly agrees. Ripley declares that Max is going to sit next to her at dinner. She talks to him the entire time at dinner. The entire time. But he
Listen, kids can
almost,
talk.
yeah, almost finds it endearing, even though he's really not into kids. But somehow she's growing on him. And when it's time for her to go to bed, she's disappointed that he's not spending the night. Because if he did, he could even take her to school the next morning. He's leaving now. Now.
Yeah.
Bye. Goodbye.
This is kids get very attached to people very quickly and easily.
And that is why she didn't mention her daughter.
So you can mention them without
I don't know.
introducing
I feel
them.
like yes, but I don't know. I feel like I don't want people to know things.
So I do because
But yes, if you were just looking for a one night stand, though, that's different. If you were looking for actually something, yes,
yeah.
right.
Well, they're kind of I don't know. Yeah.
I feel
If
like
people
she went into
ask,
the
I say
mindset
it.
of, yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
I just think because they shared so much that it
right. Well, they're both up Shit's Creek. Here we go. After Max leaves and Marnie gets Ripley to bed, she sits down with Gigi and comes clean about everything and how she's kind of distanced herself from her and a lot of other people after that night a year and a half ago. And she's been going through therapy and it wasn't about anything, but she's glad to see Gigi again. And they talk about Mr. BD and how it's her ex-husband and how the connection with Max and running out on him that morning and then seeing him again that day. And she confesses the whole thing. Gigi finds it hilarious.
honestly, like, how the fuck else are you gonna find this at this point? Like, you can't really be that mad. Like,
Yeah. But she
it
does
is
say
kind of
it
funny.
is kind of funny. She does say that Marnie needs to come clean with Max and explain the whole thing.
Mhm.
The odds are high that she's going to have to continue to interact with him as Gigi is dating her father. So it's best to just get the truth out. And then Gigi asks if it would be okay if she posted the picture because they had all taken this picture earlier that day of them as a group. And Ripley had been in Marnie's arms, but because she was obsessed with Max, she yanked Max over and was like hugging him too. And they kind of looked like this like cute little family shot. And she asks if she can take that picture and post it to Facebook for only Alexander to see and be like, congratulations to Marnie and Max on their engagement. She said she'll only put it up for a few hours. She just wants to fuck with him because it's Alexander and, have a little fun. And the
Duh.
best part is that he wouldn't be able to tell anyone about it. He's the only one to see it, and he wouldn't be able to tell anyone because then he'd have to confess to cheating on his wife. So he wouldn't be able to do anything. So Gigi finds this very hilarious. But the only problem is she doesn't know how to work Facebook properly, especially with a bottle of wine in her.
Honestly, get a bottle of wine in me, and I'll tell you whatever you
Tequila
want.
and Crystal doesn't know how to work anything.
No, we don't do that.
um, yeah, it might have been the wine because she not only just posted it to Facebook in entirety, so not just for Alexander to see, but like she left it up too and forgot about it. She went to bed. So Max wakes up to all kinds of congratulatory texts and he's confused. He's calling his mother. She's not answering. So now he's having to drive back to that house before work. Like, what the fuck? And he even gets a text from his boss congratulating him. How his boss is very impressed with him. Family man and all this stuff. Max is ringing the doorbell over and over and over again. Like, what the fuck? Marnie answers the door, finally, looking very disheveled. He asks her if she had a rough night. Marnie says that she and his mother had too much wine and passed out on the couch together. And he says that explains everything. And he wakes his mother up, like, what the fuck? She's confused. The post was only for his father to see. And then she looks, nope, oopsie. She takes the post down. But he
Oopsie
wants to know why it was
poopsies.
posted in the first place. And Gigi looks at Marnie and he wants her to stop looking at Marnie. She needs to take responsibility for herself. But Gigi says that actually Marnie is the one who should be answering. But he should hear Marnie out. And Gigi can answer any questions after they're done. And Gigi will go get Ripley ready for school. Marnie asks Max to please sit down and hear her out, but then his phone rings and it's his boss inviting him and his new family to come to a thank you retreat with all of the partners that their biggest client throws every year with everyone's families. It's wholesome. It's a golden opportunity to get in front of the big boss, that makes the decision to recommend him as a partner. And the biggest client is someone that Max has always dreamed of working for. That's kind of why he's with this company and it's a whole thing. And Max is not sure what to do. his boss says it's very important for him to get FaceTime at this retreat. And he's just stunned. And then Ripley's voice in the background, Maximily! And his boss says, obviously, he has to go, but they'll talk at work. Marnie's running late herself and is frustrated that they didn't get a chance to talk, but asks Max if they can talk after work because she has to get Ripley to school and then gets to work herself. But he's still panicking with the entire situation. And he just says that he can go with her to drop Ripley off to school and then they can talk on the way or, after dropping her off and they can get coffee or something real quick. Please. Marnie says that works. And in the car, Marnie has Ripley use her headphones watching a tablet on the ride, which is not normally allowed. So it's kind of a treat. So Ripley takes it right away so that she can have a conversation with Max. And she starts explaining about the whole Facebook thing, but Max is like, nope, he gets it. They were drinking. His dad's a dick. Doesn't matter. Moving on. His mom's in the right, blah, blah, blah. Like, he doesn't even really want to hear the whole thing because he is laser focused in on his shit. He has something he wants to talk to her. He explains all about the big client at work. He's been working his ass off to make partner and be on this client's team, and all about the retreat that he was invited to with his family. And it's crazy, but if she would just go with him, her and Ripley, for the weekend, he would do whatever favor she would want ever. He would help her with her catering business. He would hook her up with clients. He could really boost her name for things in his circles, and he could really help her. Like, please. She said that she would help him in a heartbeat, but she doesn't want to do that to Ripley and confuse her more. And he says, well, what if her dad and his mom go too? That way it's less confusing and she can still associate him as Gigi's son. And it'll be just one big fun weekend together. She's just still not thinking it feels quite right.
Ariel's nightmare. All of this is Ariel's nightmare.
Especially with the whole fact that she hasn't explained her thing yet.
Yeah.
So she then comes clean and explains her story about why she left his apartment that first night. And he's like, no, 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 no,
No, no, no,
no.
no, no. We're not.
And then
Sorry.
he's frustrated with her that she hooked up with him again at Grayson's party. Knowing, yeah, that she should have been honest with him before hooking up with him. But she chose
At
to just
least
let
the
her lust
second
take him over.
time.
Right. That's
Like,
what
because
she's,
the
yeah.
first time you have
He didn't
got.
know. Right. Nobody knew.
But
But the
after
second
that.
time, she knew. Right.
Yeah, you're kind of leaving out some
Like
key
it wasn't fair
details
to
here,
not
darling. Yeah.
let them both choose.
Mm-hmm.
She agrees. It wasn't fair. And it wasn't fair. But they get to the school and Ripley takes off her headphones, wanting to show Max everything, the whole tour. And Max and Marnie end up kind of duking it out, talking about through the whole thing. But again, he's a dick. And the emotional immaturity, the fact that he's so much younger than her, is very relevant in the scene again. And she calls him out on it. Like he has a right to his emotions and he's a right to feel frustrated, but he doesn't have the right to treat her poorly or to speak to her the way he's speaking to her. It's like not okay. And so like her calling him out kind of makes him be like, oh shit. So they do kind of stumble over that a little bit better because he doesn't get to be emotionally abusive and he doesn't get to call her a slut. Like he doesn't get to like be a
I don't know
he
why
doesn't get
that
to
is
slut
like.
shame her.
I don't know why that is like the insult that every man goes for.
Yeah. He's just being cool he's just being cruel for no reason. It's not cool. But once he's properly chastised by that, they do get out that if she had just been honest with him at the party, he would have fucked her anyways. So it's kind of a moot point. And they seem to kind of come to a bit of a truce. And honestly, Max probably would have taken her back to his place by now. But the whole kid thing kind of complicates the situation, which, speaking of, he asks Marnie why all the other kids are so much bigger than Ripley at preschool. Is she just kind of like a genius or something? Marnie explains that Ripley was a preemie and how she was born with a congenital heart defect and has had several surgeries that has caused her to lose out on precious growing time. And He actually is really great with her at the preschool and even reads to the whole class. And then on the way back from dropping her off, he tells Marnie that he's going to let his dad stew a bit before he confesses that it's not real because, anything to get under Alexander's skin. And Marnie asks Max to let her know how it goes when he does. And they realize they don't even have each other's phone numbers after all of this. So they exchange them finally. And then they head off to work. When Max does call his dad, he doesn't even get to tell him because his father just starts to steer the conversation. And Max is so stunned by what his father just immediately spews out that he just simply hangs up. His father's trying really hard to do damage control and not ruin his current marriage and wants to make sure that Max knows that Marnie is a sex worker. He hired her for services about 4 years ago or so, before he married his current wife, but he had to stop things when Marnie fell in love with him and wanted to be with him. She's only targeting Max as a revenge against him. Marnie's pissed when Max calls to tell her. She's like, what the fuck? So now is it supposedly when around the time that she was massively pregnant with Ripley? Or was it right after she gave birth when she was visiting in the NICU every single day? Man, she must be real talented.
Death.
Though through this all, Marnie is distraught for Max because what kind of a dad does that to his kid? Because if he truly believes that Max is engaged to Marnie, is he willing to sabotage his own son's happiness just to save face? Max did tell his father that he actually already knew the actual relationship between his dad and Marnie, which showed that they had a good relationship, but it also caused his dad to basically backpedal and say that the two of them need to keep their mouths shut or he'll use his story and that would fuck things up for Max at work and just go straight to blackmailing. Marnie then asks Max if this retreat is really supposed to be as good as she hears, which makes Max perk up. And then Marnie says, fine. They can go to family camp. They can pretend they're engaged and show his dad that his threats aren't making a difference. She has a couple conditions, though. She doesn't want any language in front of Ripley that makes her think that they're an actual couple. And they don't want to make any promises to Ripley that can't be kept. And she doesn't really want to talk about Alexander anymore. And she also does like the idea of bringing her dad and Gigi. And so they join them in on the call and talk them through it. And they're all in agreement to go. Marnie teases Max that he better be hustling for clients for her after camp. And also, they should probably have sex off the table. They need to pretend that they're in love all weekend. They don't need casual sex messing things up. They agree to start learning some things about each other to help their cause, and Max agrees to head over to Marnie's after work. They'll have dinner, get to know each other. They have dinner and talk through things, and they even buy a fake engagement ring, an expensive as fuck fake engagement ring, so that it looks super real.
Listen, anytime anyone does, why does just every time that they're like, every book that I read, they're like, oh, engagement ring, but let's buy like a really, really nice, actual, real, expensive one. I'm like, just get engaged at this point. Like, I don't.
They even talk
Idiots.
about Marnie's business because her dinner was amazing and he doesn't understand why her business hasn't been able to take off better if her food's that good. And she's honest, and the actual business side of it is not her strong suit. She's great at the cooking side and the recipe side, but not the actual business side. And being a single mom is a lot to juggle. And Max is actually good at that kind of side of stuff. And he says he'll come up with a business plan for her, step-by-step guide. He helps startups on a regular basis for a living. So Marnie is stoked and very grateful. They part for the evening, telling each other they'll see each other for the getaway. They end up seeing each other sooner than planned, though, because Marnie is having a catastrophic day at work and everything is going wrong. And she ends up having to redo an entire course of food. And it takes so long, she can either redo the whole thing and actually complete her job or be done with it in time and pick up Ripley. And her dad and Gigi are off away for the evening, and her friends aren't available. And she's panicking because she wants to finish the job. And as a last-ditch effort, she calls Max and asks him because Ripley is so enamored by him and he's been at the school and they're trying to get to know each other, et cetera, et cetera. But it's still kind of weird if you ask me. But what do I know? He says yes and surprises himself and Marnie. And Marnie calls the school, talks to Ripley, and gets things situated. Max picks up Ripley and spends the afternoon with her. Marnie comes in the door at the end of the day to Max having a full makeover. It's cute and definitely does not help her fighting attraction for him, but they get everything cleaned up and Ripley off to bed, and Marnie makes up food for Max as a thank you, and she is so grateful to him. And he says that as far as he's concerned, they are in this while they're getting to know each other and making this feel as real as possible because they have to make it seem as real as possible for the ranch. And they talk a lot about being like fake this and fake that. And she's like, well, this was real help. This was real Max that helped. And he's like, it's the same thing until this is over. And she's really regretting her decision with the no sex. But they get interrupted by Ripley not being able to sleep. So Max takes off. They do end up texting the next day, both about them still feeling the pull after the night before. And Marnie is pretty honest about the tug. And Max is like, she should just give in.
Just, it's fine. It's fine.
But he does let her know that he's been researching a lot and has quite a few suggestions already for her business and wants to know if she'll meet up to get coffee the next day. And Max is wondering if maybe she's right and it's good to keep distance between them, even though he definitely wants the opposite. And Marnie, he's kind of in that same boat, but is wishing for more. And on the way to coffee, Marnie calls him and says that she changed her mind. Nope, she's on her way to him. They're going to fuck. They're going to say fuck it, and that she's going to screw him today. She's going to get it out of her system before they go to the retreat. They fuck immediately, and they both agree that it didn't work to get it out of their system. So they need to keep trying again and again throughout the day. And they literally fuck all day long, and they're not sick of each other. So Max proposes that they agree to have as much sex as possible between now and the end of family camp. And when camp is over, their arrangement can be over and everyone can be clear about that. Marnie says a deal.
Because they've done so well with arrangements in the past.
And being clear
so
about expectations.
Well.
Yeah.
So well.
Marnie also says it needs to stay between them. They don't want to be weird in front of Ripley and make things complicated for their parents.
Okay.
What else could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Max is going to go over to Marnie's house for the evening and stay the night before they leave for their trip so that they can all leave together. It's Max, however, later that evening before the trip that ends up changing his tune, and they go to bed separately because he gets a little too in his feelings, though he doesn't communicate that to Marley, of course. And he doesn't want to get too attached. So back and forth and back and forth. That was really something that was frustrating, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But they do all get to the ranch and the time goes great. They're not even really faking anything. Both of them are pretty feeling it by now, and the feelings are there, and they're just doing what they're supposed to be doing, faking it wise, but it doesn't seem fake. And they're just schmoozing the right people, and magically, with their natural way they are with each other, they're making the right connections. And by the end of the time, everyone's happy. Ripley has had the time of her life, and Max was offered his dream position and was even asked to relocate to California. And his mom calls Marnie out privately on the fact that it's not really fake. And Marnie does confess that she does love Max for real, but it doesn't matter because he's not in the same boat. He's young and not in that space in his life. And Gigi urges Marnie just to talk to him anyways, because she thinks Marnie's wrong. Oh,
Settling.
so on the last night, she tries to bring things up, and they do both have feelings for each other and can recognize that. But the whole move to California makes things different. Marnie's ready for commitment now. Doesn't want to play the long distance game. She doesn't want to be his fake girlfriend there. And if she moves there with him, she wants commitment now. She would move there with a ring on her finger. And he kind of pointedly looks at the ring on her finger. And she says, if he says that that's real, she'll go. And he's
I
flabbergasted.
mean,
Could she actually do that quickly? Because that's too much for him too soon. He would rather take things slow. But Marnie is in a position and a spot in her life where she's ready to settle down. She's ready to make a home for Ripley, maybe have another baby, settle down. And they end up parting ways on the last night, realizing that they want different things. Marnie leaving him the fake ring. 10 days go by, and Marnie is still heartbroken. Max has been in contact since they've been back, but it's been all business, working on Marnie's business plan. Marnie's out to lunch with the ladies when she gets a text from Alexander, who she long since blocked, but he's texting her from a different number saying that it's important to call him. After,
roll eyes.
yeah, yeah. After talking it out with the ladies, she decides not to block him instead because that's what she was going to do, but they convince her to call him and tell him to fuck off because she has learned how badly he's treated Max and Gigi over the years. And so she ends up texting him instead, saying that she's at dinner. She'll call him at her earliest convenience. But he responds saying if she's downtown, they can meet for drinks after. Marnie asks her friends to go with her because she doesn't want to be alone with this fucking scumbag.
Duh.
Duh. Max, on the other hand, has gotten a message from his brother with the news that their dad's latest wife has left him because she's pregnant with the pool boy's baby or some shit, like their riding instructor or something.
Honestly,
Some kind of
here's the
somebody
thing.
shady.
Karma.
Perfect. Yeah. I don't know who exactly it is. Somebody's somebody. It doesn't
Who
matter.
the fuck cares?
Somebody that's not Alexander. The brother was inviting him to hang out with Gigi to celebrate the doomed marriage. But they're
Hell
at the
yeah.
house watching Ripley. And Max realizes if they're watching Ripley, that means Marnie's out. And he kind of goes through this whole cycle of, is she working? Is she on a date? And he kind of freaks out thinking she's on a date, jealousy wise. And it's basically like, what has he done? Yeah, you fucking idiot. And he pulls up her location on his
You
phone
fucking idiot. Sorry.
because they had shared it at camp. And he sees she's at the bar. And he doesn't know that she's supposed to be meeting Alexander at the bar, but he's like, fuck. Because what if she's on a date there? And he grabs the ring that she gave back to him and heads there. Alexander tells Marnie that he discovered the truth about her supposed engagement to Max. And clearly, she only did it to make Alexander jealous, to get his attention. So he has good news for her. Her plan worked. It made him realize what he had lost. The only woman he has truly ever loved. Marnie's like, what the fuck?
Sure, Jan.
She tells him she honestly fucking hates him. He's a despicable person. Alexander likes that because love isn't the opposite of hate. She's giving herself away. She has strong feelings for him. He left his wife for her.
Don't think that's how that went.
Marnie says she doesn't feel anything for him other than disgust for the way he's treated her, the way he's treated Max, the way he's treated Gigi, all of it. She, in fact, hasn't even thought about him since she's blocked him the first time, unless someone else has brought him up. He does not take this well, and he basically grabs her roughly and says that he knows that she's old and has a kid. She's not going to get a better offer. He'll set her up an apartment, all this blah, 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 blah. She should take his offer and be grateful for it. And then Max is there saying, let her go. Somebody tries to stop Max, from intervening because rules are rules. Do not strike anyone in the bar, blah, 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 blah. But Max is like, this guy was violently grabbing my fiance's arm. And Alexander's like, she's not his fiance. And Max says that she is and looks to Marnie and says, unless he's too late to make things right. And Marnie says, nope. And explains that she was just chewing his father out for the way he's treated him. That's all it was. And the friends pipe up saying it was their fault anyway. They forced her to go. Max tells Marnie that he loves her and he was a fool and he wants their family back. Marnie hugs him. Max glares at Alexander and says to stay away from him and his family. Alexander scoffs and says, fine, have his sloppy seconds. Max punches him in the face, but then Max is dragged out of the bar. You know, rules are rules.
Boo.
Marnie and her friends come out next. Alexander got dragged out the back. Max grabs the ring and goes on one knee in front of Marnie, and she says yes. He says he'll replace the fake one as soon as possible, and they tell each other that they love each other, and they go to another bar, one that they're allowed in now, to celebrate. Later that night, Max takes her home to fuck her, and he tells her he wants to make a baby with her, and she says about that. She's been on the pill this whole time, but she doesn't know if it's stress or what, but she's 3 days late.
Worst nightmare.
He says to get a test
Sorry.
now, but she says in the morning, like,
Bitch,
it's
now.
fine, it can wait till morning. And he also has to call in the morning the guy that offered him a job, their client, and come clean about everything.
Yeah.
They're actually really nice people, and he feels bad about it all. Plus, Marnie should know that he's actually unemployed right now because he went back to his regular job and they offered him the actual partnership at the firm because he was so ruthless, because his boss had lunch with his dad and they assumed, rightly so, I mean, that he was faking it, but they just assumed that he was doing it to con the guy that was the partner with his fake fiance because he was so ruthless. And that's why he wanted him as a partner. So he's like, no, thank you. That's the reason why they weren't making him as a partner to begin with, because he was too nice. And Max is like, fuck that. And he quit, which will probably ruin his chances of working for the dude that he really wants to, but he needs to come clean anyways.
Yeah.
But as they're falling asleep, Max says they can't wait until the morning to go tell Ripley. So they go wake her up. They ask Ripley if Max can be her daddy. And she says that's all she's ever wanted. And she tells Max that she loves him. And she calls him Maxie Daddy. Kind of like Maxie Pad, but Maxie Daddy. Yep, I hated it too. And then we have an epilogue, and it's their wedding. It's small and perfect, just a few family and friends and close clients, and they're doing it on the ranch. Marnie is pregnant. Max did call the guy Wayne and confessed everything and told them the whole story, including quitting the law firm and all that. But then Wayne hung up and spoke to his wife and then called Max back, and he offered him the same position except directly for his tech firm without the law firm he was working at. His wife had convinced him that no one can fake what they saw. They were meant for each other, and he did come clean and he was honest and he deserves a do-over. Wayne took his wife's advice and Max started working right away. They have a new house in San Francisco and the hours work great for them to be together. Marnie's doing more of developing gadgets for kitchen tools for her business because she is good at that kind of stuff because she's pregnant and having Ripley and she's getting ready for the new baby. And their son's name is going to be Marcus, and they get married, and they're all happy, and that's the book.
Yay.
Ta-da!
Ta-ta.
Who's your daddy?
Me. I never knew my father. I'm just kidding.
Who is your favorite character? How about that?
I kind of. I don't know. Every woman who left that douche. You know what? The lady who got pregnant with the pool boy's baby.
That's your favorite character?
No, I don't actually know.
I kind of liked Gigi.
I did kind of like Gigi a little bit, yeah.
And Wayne's wife.
Oh, yeah. That is both mutually yawning.
Sorry. Who's your least favorite character?
Well, obviously his dad.
Hmm.
Because
And the
the
boss.
fuck, bro? And the boss, yeah. But, like,
And
epitome of a fucker. You
whoever
fucking
Max
idiot.
became when he was inconvenienced or mad. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's, yeah. Well, unfortunately, that happens. It's really odd.
You
Yeah.
know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. Amazon gives it a 4.4, Goodreads a 4.0, and Storygraph a 3.91.
What did you rate it?
I did about a 3.5.
Um, I gave it 4 stars. I was here. I I think I'm gonna go with 3.75 just because I didn't like Max's little weird bits.
Whiny ass, yeah.
Yeah. But I just hate having to comment that on Goodreads, so I'd round it up.
Fair, valid. Yeah, I had fun. It was his personality shifting, and it was a
The
lot
back
of
and
their
forth, yeah.
miscommunication. It was like a lot of that, and like
Yeah.
communicate, people. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love communication. We also hate a
Communication
miscommunication.
is the best.
Yeah.
And the back
Duh.
and forth. I never liked the back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would survive.
I'd be fine.
Um, do. Nothing crazy. Maybe a poblano and a half.
Yeah, I'll go with a poblano and a half as well.
I was not a one-handed read for me.
Me either.
It wasn't that it was bad, it just didn't get there.
It wasn't the yeah, just
Um,
wasn't one-handed.
yeah. And we do not need to
Spin anything because we
spin
have
because
nothing.
we have nothing, and because next week we have our monthly already again. I don't know how that has happened.
Time.
Girl, bye.
Yeah.
Time doesn't exist.
Yes.
Into the woods,
So.
into the woods. You know, it's been stuck in my head like
Hmm.
for days. And now it's going to be like out of my head the second I go to tell you about it. But it's like the what a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Yes, he is. But
I.
it's like the whole song.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
See. Um. I have
Have a
had a
butt
different
like
thing
that.
stuck in my head, but you
Fries with that shake,
wouldn't.
shake booty. Love to kill you would be an Uzi shotgun bang. What's up with that thing?
The
I
thing
wanna
is
know.
like
How does it hang? Straight up, wait up. Okay.
the song that I've had stuck in my head. You wouldn't understand why this is the most ridiculous song ever. Simply because
Simply the best.
there's like kind of lore to go back with it, but I need to let me see if I can find the spot that I want to play. Is it in bullets?
What are
The
they
song gets really
always?
stuck in your head. Let me see if I can find a part. Hold on. I just at least gonna show you those. This is the most ridiculous. It's so stuck in my head.
We'll drop it low. Ooh, whoa, ooh, whoa. Just call me J.Y. Poppy. Whoa, ooh, whoa, ooh, whoa. Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Spell. Da 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 da. You want. Baby, come and make me sweat, 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 wet,
Well,
wet,
on
wet,
that note,
sweat, wet.
um, we're not going to make you sweat, but I hope that you read, even though next week is our chatting
I,
episode.
mm-hmm.
Make sure to keep reading.
I keep it smutty.
So the
It
book
was
fast
jokes,
forward.
guys. I don't actually like it.
The book fast forwards a year later. No, I'm gonna. The book fast forwards. That's not working for me. Does that sound right? Fast forwards? Fast forward?
We are going to time travel into the future. Sorry.
And Marnie explains that Ripley was a genie. She was a genie in a bottle, baby. Gotta rub me the right way, honey.
No.
No.
Oh fuck.
Oh, fuck.